The amount of small arms spread throughout Nigeria is why this new center has been established. It's just one of the attempts being made to secure the country. It will serve as the institutional mechanism for policy guidance, research and monitoring of small and light weapons. The police say the scale of the proliferation is unprecedented.
The problem here is even complicated by the fact that it is not just a Nigeria problem. It is an African problem. The very massive destabilization of the Sahel region. We've also had major challenges in a lot of countries in West Africa. The problem associated with this wars, or part of the problem associated with some of these wars, is that no matter how good your disarmament policies, no matter how good your demobilization policies are, you can never netten all the weapons used by government forces, rebel groups, splinter rebel groups, individual citizens that acquired weapons for self-defense and protection. You can never net them all together.
The African Union says the proliferation of small arms is a big challenge on the continent. It has called on African leaders to do more to ensure the guns are silenced.
I think the advice that I can give to our leaders is to follow the life of the citizen, whereas the primary objective of the government is to protect life and property. And when that particular one is being undermined, is make government look like they are not up to their own responsibility.
The new center, headed by Major General A.M. Diko, will replace the Presidential Committee on Small Arms and Light Weapons. Analysts say it failed in its task.
Well, I'm a little bit worried about the word center because it at variance with what is operational elsewhere in the West African sub-region. What we were expecting was a commission. A commission will have been better than a center, although they have a similar mandate, but since it is still domiciled in the office of the National Security Advisor, it is still under the control of a particular organization, which is supposed not to be. It has to be independent ab initio.
While Nigeria works with regional partners to control the influx of weapons into the country, there is an ongoing discussion about local manufacturing.
For decades, we've approached the local fabricators with just one singular approach. And that approach is trace them, uncover their locations, raid their factories, destroy their factories, arrest, prosecute, sometimes jail. But consistently, we've seen that that solution or that approach has not been able to take them out of our ecosystem, has not been able to take them out of our public space. So for me, it's high time we began to review that approach and probably begin to think of combining that core law enforcement approach of dealing with them with a non-law enforcement approach of dealing with them. Perhaps beyond arrest, destruction, naming and shaming and prosecution, we may begin to think of conducting an audit, even if it's going to be covertly done, and look at How many of these illicit factories are thriving? How many of those operating those illicit factories, even if they're in jail, that have got exceptional capacity, and see how we can launder them and mainstream them into a system that will be beneficial to Nigeria?
With armed groups springing up in different parts of the country, with calls for secession and insecurity widespread, it's hoped the Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons can finally silence the guns in the country. Ferdinand Duroja, Arise News.